Welcome to Brody Cinemas. Make sure you grab your popcorn and beware of spoilers ahead, because today we're going to explain a film based on the real life story of the youngest warrior of World War II called Soldier Boy. Okay, before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button and realize that we're not talking about this Soldier Boy, but this Soldier Boy, okay? This ain't that Crank that Superman, that all that watch you, okay? This is talking about a movie that begins in Russia, where a family of three sit by the river enjoying their time. The youngest of them, Sergei Aleshkov, goes to his elder brother and mother about him being on top of a tree when suddenly German fighter jets fly over. The mother asks her kids to quickly hide in the bushes, but the 6-year-old claims he ain't scared at all. I repeat, that little boy wants all the smoke, ladies and gentlemen. So he then strikes the jet with a 1941 handmade slingshot with custom acorn ammo. Come on, get a load of that. But everyone was actually surprised because he managed to hit the jets and explode them, but when he looks around, his family is gone. Sergei wakes up frightened from the dream and calls for his mother. Just then, someone knocks on his door. Assuming it's his mother, he runs towards it, but a neighbor woman comes in panicking, and she thanks God for keeping him alive and informs him that his mother and brother are dead. But little Sergei can't comprehend what she is saying and wants to stay in the house and wait for his mother.
The woman tells him that the Germans have attacked him and that he should run away, but that's when some soldiers approach their house. The woman makes Sergei run out through the window, but is shot dead before she can join him. The little 6-year-old is now on his own with no family and friends. As Sergei runs away from the house, he sees his whole neighborhood burning behind him. He calls for his mother in vain and runs away from there. After running for a while, he ends up in the middle of the woods. The little boy starts to call for his mother to come and get him because he is lost, but that night he stays in the jungle. The following morning, we see him drink water from a river when the enemy soldiers approach. Sergei, knowing that they are dangerous, quickly hides inside the tree roots. He gets startled when a snake comes nearby, but doesn't say a word or run away. Which, I'm not gonna lie, y'all, if it was me, I'm screaming and running because I do not like snakes. But Sergei, on the other hand, is more scared of the soldiers than he is the snake. The soldiers eat by the river and go away, after which Sergei takes their leftover food and devours it for the night. However, by the end of the day, the little boy is exhausted. He hasn't had a proper meal in 2 days and has been walking with no destination. So he then falls down as he limps, but he doesn't stop walking. While on his way, he sees wild berries and eats them, but just then an explosion occurs behind him. Taking him by surprise, the boy gets dizzy and starts to hallucinate.
Someone is coming behind him, but as weak as he is, he stands 10 toes down and tells the person that he has a rifle and is not scared. I repeat, that little boy wants all the smoke, ladies and gentlemen. He then limps forward, but falls unconscious after a while. While he is asleep, 2 soldiers approach him. The scene cuts to the Russian army base where Commander Kuznetsov waits for his patrol soldiers. They come in with a little kid who is injured and weak. When the soldiers claim they are on his side, the little boy opens up and introduces himself. The soldiers laugh when the kid shakes his hand with the commander, suggesting he introduce himself too. The soldiers show some love to the little kid and circle around him. They give him water and feed him. Even the cold-hearted commander takes care of the kid. A nurse named Katya takes care of Sergei's wounds and is charmed by his personality too. The kid asks her to draw a tank on his wounds because he wants to be a soldier when he grows up. Even the injured soldiers talk to the kid, and it makes them feel a little bit better. Sergei is fascinated with the commander's gun and his badge. The commander then answers all the little boy's questions and lets him play with his honorary pistol after taking the bullets out. Sergei shows him the tank drawn on his stomach and boasts about being a soldier himself. The boy is healing very quickly. The nurse Kaya asks the commander to let the boy stay with the battalion, but he disagrees, claiming that it won't be safe. He wants to send Sergei to an orphanage. The soldiers spend all their free time with Sergei. He gets visited by many throughout the day. They bring him food sent by their families from afar and even let him play with their binoculars. One day, a soldier goes to the commander and asks him to let the boy stay with the battalion. The soldiers have grown a close connection with the kid and think of him as their own. His presence just takes the weight of war off their chest. However, the commander is adamant about sending the boy to an orphanage for his own safety. The following day, the enemies attack and many soldiers are hurt. A vehicle comes to fetch Sergei to take him to the orphanage. The commander breaks the news to the kid and gives him a wooden honorary pistol as a gift. The boy in turn hugs him, claiming that he is scared for the commander's safety. And when that little boy wrapped his arms around him, the commander just couldn't say no, so he changes his mind and asks Sergei to stay with the soldiers as their very own son.
That night, the soldiers look for the little soldier clothes for the little boy, and the fact that Sergei is staying with them is the best news they heard all year. The commander wakes Sergei up and gives him the clothes. He wears them and runs around looking like a real soldier. The others start calling him their little soldier boy. As the kid runs around, the Germans launch an air attack on the battalion. The soldiers quickly take Sergei to a safe place and fight the others. The number of injured soldiers grows rapidly. Sergei wants to make himself useful, so he brings water to the thirsty soldiers and asks one of them to read a letter sent by his family because he has a bandage over his eyes. The little boy wants to help, but he doesn't know how to read, so he takes the letter and starts making up the things written on it, claiming that the soldier's cow is safe back home. When the soldier says he doesn't have a cow, the others tell him to go along with the story and laughs at him as he reads everyone else's letter in the same fashion and cheers them up. In the following scene, we see Katya and the commander talking. The two seem to be attracted to each other, but do not confess their feelings. Later, Sergei tells the commander that he is of the orderly position in the battalion and starts introducing himself as one. However, the boy then sees one of the soldiers stationed destroyed from the attack. The next day, he insists the commander give him a mission, and he is given a task to distribute the letters among the soldiers. He completes this task efficiently and even makes the soldiers dance for him. The following day, Sergei goes a little far from the base with his binoculars. As he is playing with them, he sees someone's leg moving from inside a haystack. He rushes back to the battalion and tells the soldiers about his findings. The soldiers are skeptical, but go with the boy anyway. When they reach near the haystack, they are altered to see two German spies hiding underneath. The spies are arrested and the kid is praised for his intelligence. That night, the commander shows Sergei the legal papers for his adoption, so he is now officially the kid's father. Sergei knows of the commander's feelings for Katya, so to repay his kindness, he takes him to confess to her, but to see her talking to a different man and wrongfully assume she is interested in someone else. Meanwhile, the base is attacked by the Germans again, but this time Sergei helps the soldiers with all his might by supplying ammunition to the soldiers in the front line. But the soldiers command him to go back to the shed because it is too dangerous outside.
When he comes to the shed, he sees the commander and others panicking because the phone's connection with the colonel was lost. A soldier is sent to fix the broken wires. Sergei follows the soldier and sees he has been fatally wounded. He asks the dying soldier how can he fix the wires and does it himself. The connection comes back and more troops are called. The 6-year-old boy saves everyone's life. Later, we see the commander and Katya talking by the river. The commander finally confesses his love for her and asks her to be Sergei's mother. Katya liked what she was hearing, but before she can say anything, a soldier approaches them and gives the commander a letter saying they have been dispatched from their base. The following day, all the soldiers leave for their new base along with Sergei. However, on their way, they come across a minefield that blows up some of their vehicles. The commander is hurt, while the group's orderly, who Sergei was close with, dies in the explosion. He cries and hugs the commander. They carry the injured ones with them and continue their journey to their new base. When they finally reach the other base, they meet the commander's leader. The general is impressed by the kid's ambition and congratulates the commander for having such a smart kid. The following day, their division is awarded a guard's banner, and so is the boy. He promises to save his country when the general gives him his badge. One night, their base is attacked brutally, and the commander is trapped under the ruins. Sergei cries for his father and tries to save him. He calls the other soldiers who finally bring the commander out. The next day, Sergei approaches an injured commander. His hands were hurt while trying to save the commander. The kid is now an inseparable part of the team. He doesn't have a family besides them and moves wherever they go in the war. The movie ends with the regiment being seen moving to another base. A voice in the background narrates that he even took part in the Stalingrad battle and reached Poland with the soldiers. He is currently known as the world's youngest soldier ever, and the legendary story of his bravery is now spread for the whole world to hear. But hey man, that's the end of the video. Let us know what other movies you want us to recap, and without further ado, we appreciate you stopping by. Brody in Cinemas.